What's cracking YouTube? This is Daybreak48 coming back at you guys with yet again another figure review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Variable Action Heroes Usopp figure from the One Piece franchise. Now, as you guys know, I am in love with One Piece these days. I just recently started watching the anime, and so I had to pick up this figure. Now, honestly speaking, I've never seen Usopp this jacked before. I'm just not that far into the anime, like I said, but he looks freaking awesome. Now, if you haven't watched my, segment on whether or not you should collect this line, I highly recommend you do so. I'll leave a link down below. It has a lot of information about the previous figures and the newer figures and all that good stuff. So if you were ever on the fence, go check that out. Now with that said, here we go. This is Usopp out of the package. Nothing done to him. This is how he comes. Now, before we take a look at the actual figure, I'm going to move him off to the side. And since this is an import figure and I've never ever reviewed a Variable Action Heroes One Piece figure on my channel, let me just show you the packaging. So standard packaging when it comes to the One Piece lineup, you have a nice picture of the actual figure, open display window right here. You have the name, you have Mega House and the sticker of authenticity right down there. Many pictures of Usopp right there. On the back, it shows you all the interchangeable faces and parts, so looking freaking great. Now with that said, I'm going to move this box out of the way and let's talk about accessories. Now, the cool thing about this franchise is the fact that they don't take the easy way out. They give everything you can possibly ever want when it comes to an action figure for this particular character. So you ready? You get this slingshot. Now you might be like, wow, that's pretty cool. So this piece right here is pliable. It's not too pliable, so be careful, but it is pliable enough where you won't need to worry about this thing snapping. So looks great, right? The attention to detail. There's these little X marks to showcase the stitching, which is pretty freaking great. Then you get this elongated version, so you can have your Usopp figure look like he's ready to let go and just unleash his special attack. So that's pretty cool. This piece once again is pliable, so you don't need to worry as much. So that's pretty cool. You also get his little man purse, which is really, really nicely done. I love the glossy paint. I love the little shading that they put in here, so it looks like there's like some folds. It looks great. Now this piece, it looks like you can open it, but it's not something you guys can open, so be careful. Now this piece right here is a nice rubbery plastic, so you won't need to worry about this thing breaking on you anytime soon. Now one area I would keep in mind is right here and right here, because if this thing is just glued on, if you're too rough with it, you can definitely snap that. So keep that in mind. The next accessory that I would like to showcase is this set of goggles. So that's pretty cool. Paint is done nicely. Sculpting is nice. Alright, now you think, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. That's a good amount of accessories. Well, we're not done there. You ready? You get not just the regular default face. You get this ridiculous winking face. I mean, that is something you might see in your nightmares. Now, you ready? You ready? Bam! Look at that nose. Now, you might be like, wait, Daybreak, that's something must be wrong, right? How can a guy's nose be this ridiculously long? He's not Pinocchio. Well, this is the design for this show, so you have to keep that in mind. It is show accurate. Then you get another face, which is him looking off to his right. Once again, done very nicely. And then the last face you get is this one that actually has the goggles in place. So that's pretty cool. And then this piece right here, you might be like, what the heck is that? Well, they give you a completely separate back headpiece, just in case you didn't want to showcase your Usopp figure with the actual hat, because I'll show it later, but the one that has the hat on, it has a little peg on the end, so it looks a little weird. So if you wanted to, and I'll showcase this right now, you would just take that piece off, put the peg right here, and then line these pegs and the peg holes up, and bam, there's the face without the head, or without the hat, I should say. Now this piece, why is this piece just this blank plastic? Well, it's because if you look closely, and I'll show this when we look at the actual figure, but the Usopp figure has this big ridiculous hairpiece at the back. You could take that off and you could put it on this right here. So that's pretty cool. Now let's take a look at the hands. So you get a set of these nice relaxed posed hands. You get a set of gripping hands. So that's pretty cool. Now you get some separate and some unique hands for this character. You get this pointing hand. You get the thumbs up hand. And lastly, this hand, you might be like, what the heck is that? Well, it's for his slingshot. You can have him hold this piece right here to make it look like he's going to release this awesome special attack at his foe. So that's pretty freaking awesome. Alright, with that said, let's bring back the main event, Usopp, right here. And as you guys can clearly see, when it comes to sculpting, they have nailed this character. I mean, I've seen pictures of when Usopp looks like this, but like I said, I'm not at that point yet, so it's gonna take me a little bit of time. But this guy looks phenomenal. Man. Now, this is the hairpiece that I was telling you about that goes on the ball peg. Alright, with that said, let me just showcase. If I reveal and pull off this hat, you see the peg hole right there, and this is what I meant. There's that peg. So if you don't want to display your Usopp figure with a hat on, then you want to swap out the actual head. So there you go. But look at that attention to detail. All of the show accuracy is there. Look at that. Man, my God. They do such a phenomenal job with these figures. I am just blown away. These straps right here are done very, very nicely. They're nice and tight. Actually, it might be attached right here. It's not going to move on you, so you don't need to worry about that. The hair is done perfectly. This is the type of hair he has on the show. It's like an afro-ish hair. He has the hat on like he normally does. His ridiculous Pinocchio nose, spot on. His lips, which it looks like fish lips, but yeah, that's exactly how Usopp looks. Now, this piece right here is supposed to represent some like fluffy material, and if you look at it just straight on, it looks like fluffy material, but no, it's just plastic. So there you go. Now, when it comes to articulation, head can look left and right. It cannot actually look up due to this hair, and I'll show you in a little bit this joint that he's on. That's one minor gripe that people have, but he can look straight forward. He can look down. That's pretty much it. When it comes to the arms, can go out that far. Bicep swivel built in. You have the double jointed elbows. The fists are on a hinge and a swivel, so you have all the articulation there. He does have a nice diaphragm joint right here and a waist joint, so you have a lot of playability right there. When it comes to the legs, this is pretty cool. You ready? They took a page from the SH Figure Arts line. They have that pull down feature because, as you guys can clearly see, these pans are sculpted in a way where it's gonna really get in the way of articulation. So that is pretty good for the amount of plastic that's actually here. When it comes to the knees, bam. It looks okay. If you go too far, you see this little open space, this gap, but that's okay. No one's gonna go that far. And then when it comes to the feet, you have everything you could possibly want. You can swivel, the toe joint, it can pivot, you name it, it's there. So, real quickly, I said some people, well, when it comes to the One Piece line, most people have an issue with the actual head. Now, why do they have an issue with the head? Well, if I take this face off and reveal the joint that this thing is on, this is a very weird joint that the only company I know that does this is this line. This connects to the back of the head right here, and then it gets sandwiched in with this one, so or if that one right there. And when you do that, it can't really, there's no real give, and so you can't have this character look up or down too far. So that's a one minor gripe that I have with this franchise, but it's nothing too serious. Now real quickly, before I show you the final product with everything, with him having everything on him, I just want to show you, if you want to put the bandana, not the bandana, the goggles on, take off his existing head, then put his goggles on. It's just easier that way. Same thing applies with his man purse right here. There you go. You see? It's just easier that way. Don't try to force it over the head, because if you do, you're definitely going to break something. When it comes to the slingshot, very simple. Take one of the hands and just slide it right through. It's nothing too crazy. Alright guys, so with that said, give me a sec. I know my Usopp doesn't have a head right now. I'm going to get him all fully posed, and then we'll wrap things up. Be back in a few. And there we have it, guys. I just had to use that ridiculous looking face. I mean, that is just too freaking priceless not to use. And there you go. Usopp with his man purse. He has his goggles on. He doesn't have his slingshot, and that's one thing I just want to note. The slingshot is a little hard to display this character with because of this piece right here. I wish there was one where this piece was kind of either flat or something like that, because if you have him just holding it like this, because this piece right here is kind of floating, it just looks really off. If you're going to use the slingshot, then you're going to have him posed in a way where it makes sense. So keep that in mind. But hey, nevertheless, this is a phenomenal figure that I think is it's a 10 out of 10. I mean, this is a very, very awesome figure. Articulation is great, sculpt is great, paint job is flawless. This is a must-have, especially if you are a One Piece fan or an Usopp fan. So there you guys have it. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to stop by and watch this video. If you like what you saw and you're new to the channel, first of all, welcome. If you like what you saw, check out my other videos. If you like it, please hit that subscribe button. If you like what you saw, please leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions or concerns about this particular figure, please leave it in the comment section down below. And until next time, guys, this is Daybreak 748, and I'm signing out. Peace out, guys.